It's official. The Cleveland Browns just witnessed the most dramatic coaching meltdown in NFL history, and what started as a simple quarterback controversy has exploded into a full-blown organizational crisis that's got ownership panicking, players choosing sides, and an entire fan base questioning everything they thought they knew about their team. We're not talking about typical coaching decisions anymore. We're talking about public humiliation, forced apologies, and a power struggle that's reshaping how professional football operates behind the scenes. The streets are buzzing, NFL executives are in shock, and the people who thought they understood how coaching hierarchies work, they're probably reconsidering everything they know about player power in the modern game. So here's what just went down. Kevin Stefanski, the Cleveland Browns head coach, was reportedly forced to issue a public apology to rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders just 2 minutes before kickoff against the Cincinnati Bengals. But this wasn't just any apology. According to multiple sources within the organization, Stefanski explicitly stated, "I was wrong. I should have had your back more," while acknowledging that external pressures, organizational politics, and personal biases had affected his quarterback evaluation. But this isn't just about one coach eating crow. This is about a complete transformation of power dynamics in professional sports. And what we're uncovering behind the scenes is even more explosive than the public apology itself. Let's rewind a bit. When the Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders, everyone assumed this would be a typical rookie development situation. Veteran coaching staff, experienced quarterback room, gradual integration into the system, standard NFL protocol that's worked for decades across the league. What nobody saw coming was how quickly the situation would deteriorate into a public power struggle between a Super Bowl winning coach and a rookie quarterback with unprecedented leverage. According to multiple sources within the Browns organization, the conflict had been brewing for weeks, with Stefanski consistently favoring backup Dylan Gabriel during practice despite Sanders' superior performance. The breaking point came during training camp, when reports surfaced that Stefanski was actively undermining Sanders in team meetings, questioning his preparation, maturity, and system comprehension. Sources familiar with these sessions describe a coach who seemed determined to prove that his evaluation was correct even when evidence suggested otherwise. One insider described the atmosphere as toxic and counterproductive, claiming that Stefanski's treatment of Sanders was affecting team morale and creating unnecessary division in the locker room. Veterans were reportedly questioning the coach's decision-making, while younger players were taking sides in what became an increasingly public dispute. But here's where it gets even wilder. The apology wasn't Stefanski's idea. According to people familiar with the situation, this was a calculated, organizational mandate delivered under extreme duress from ownership. Jimmy Haslam reportedly issued an ultimatum following yesterday's practice, demanding immediate resolution before national television exposure. The social media campaigns #FreeShedeur and #FireStefanski had generated unprecedented engagement concerning corporate sponsors, season ticket holders, and broadcasting partners. Sources within the Browns front office describe emergency conference calls including minority owners expressing frustration regarding unnecessary controversy damaging brand value. General Manager Andrew Berry allegedly advocated for public reconciliation, arguing that the competitive disadvantage created through internal dysfunction was becoming untenable. The organization was hemorrhaging credibility with each passing day of quarterback controversy, and something had to give before the situation spiraled completely out of control. Multiple sources describe Stefanski spending the previous evening consulting confidants, including former Vikings colleagues, seeking advice on managing what one insider called an untenable situation. Mike Zimmer supposedly advised accepting reality and preserving employment. Sean McVay reportedly emphasized that the modern NFL requires coach-quarterback alignment regardless of personal preferences. Bill Belichick allegedly remained characteristically silent, offering only "do your job" when pressed for guidance. The psychological burden Stefanski carried was immense. A Northwestern linebacker turned coaching prodigy, watching his carefully constructed authority crumble under organizational pressure. Then came the nuclear moment that really exposed how desperate the situation had become. The public nature of the apology. In professional sports, coaches don't typically apologize to players in front of cameras, teammates, and media. The fact that this happened suggests organizational panic at the highest levels. Sanders, maintaining characteristic composure, reportedly accepted the apology while emphasizing collective goals over individual vindication. Teammates observing the interaction described an atmospheric transformation, with tension evaporating instantly and hope emerging unexpectedly from what had been a toxic situation. Sources indicate Sanders' surprising maturity throughout the ordeal, never publicly criticizing coaching staff despite obvious favoritism toward Gabriel. His father Deion's influence was evident through strategic patience, calculated responses, and allowing pressure to build naturally without forcing confrontation. But that's not even the most shocking part. According to sources within the Browns organization, the apology was just the beginning of a complete offensive overhaul. Offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt was frantically adjusting the game plan, incorporating Sanders' unique skill set against Cincinnati's aggressive defense just hours before kickoff. Previously installed packages emphasizing Gabriel's precision passing were abandoned. New concepts featuring designed runs, movement passes, and deep shots were installed during the morning walkthrough. Position coaches were scrambling, adjusting protection schemes to accommodate Sanders' mobility and improvisation tendencies. The entire offensive philosophy was transforming hours before a divisional showdown. Such chaos typically guarantees disaster, yet Sanders' transcendent talent potentially overcame systematic dysfunction that would have destroyed most rookie quarterbacks. Equipment managers were scrambling, adjusting helmets with updated communication systems. Video coordinators compiled emergency cut-ups highlighting Sanders' successful concepts from preseason. Analytics departments recalculated win probabilities based upon the quarterback change. The machinery supporting professional football adapted frantically to accommodate the morning's dramatic reversal. And here's what's truly wild about this situation. The locker room dynamics were completely transformed by the public reconciliation. Veterans who had invested years supporting Stefanski's culture suddenly witnessed a philosophical reversal under pressure. Myles Garrett reportedly addressed the defense privately, emphasizing focus regardless of offensive drama. Nick Chubb, returning from catastrophic injury, supposedly offered Sanders unwavering support during the morning meeting. Joel Bitonio, Cleveland's longest-tenured player, allegedly expressed frustration regarding the circus atmosphere surrounding the quarterback position, reflecting broader organizational confusion. The coaching staff's internal dynamics remained strained despite the public reconciliation. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz maintained studied neutrality, refusing engagement regarding offensive personnel decisions. Assistant coaches whispered concerns about precedent, wondering whether player empowerment had exceeded reasonable boundaries. Position coaches questioned development timelines, practice structures, and evaluation metrics moving forward. Van Pelt shouldered enormous pressure, maximizing Sanders' abilities without proper installation time. Special teams coordinator Bubba Ventrone supposedly expressed exasperation regarding distraction timing before a crucial division game. But here's where the story takes an even more dramatic turn. The national implications of what happened in Cleveland extend far beyond one team's dysfunction. NFL executives across the league are reportedly studying the Browns situation as a case study in modern player power and organizational management. Sources within multiple front offices describe the Sanders-Stefanski conflict as representative of broader changes in how rookie quarterbacks approach professional football. The days of quietly accepting coaching decisions and gradually earning opportunities are apparently over for players with significant leverage. The precedent implications prove equally significant. Barry invested substantial draft capital, acquiring both quarterbacks, watching organizational dysfunction potentially waste valuable assets. His relationship with ownership, previously collaborative, was reportedly strained throughout the quarterback controversy. Sources claim Barry preferred extended competition into the regular season before Haslam's intervention forced premature resolution. The general manager supposedly viewed the morning apology as necessary evil preserving organizational functionality while privately questioning long-term ramifications. The financial implications are staggering. The Browns' organizational dysfunction was reportedly affecting season ticket renewals, corporate partnerships, and merchandise sales. The public apology was as much about protecting revenue streams as resolving football conflicts. Multiple sources within the Browns' business operations describe the quarterback controversy as toxic for the brand and potentially damaging to long-term financial stability. The resolution, regardless of its authenticity, was necessary to prevent further economic damage. Ownership fingerprints saturated the entire situation. Haslam's history of cycling through coaches, forcing personnel decisions, and demanding immediate results haunted the franchise reputation. Yet sources indicated genuine belief that Sanders represented generational talent warranting organizational upheaval. The apology mandate supposedly included specific terminology ensuring Sanders received complete support progressing forward. Haslam allegedly reminded Stefanski about alignment expectations, suggesting future employment was contingent upon embracing ownership's quarterback preference. The psychological warfare components reveal additional layers of complexity. Stefanski had to compartmentalize personal feelings, professional humiliation, and competitive focus while preparing for a division rival. The mental gymnastics required to coach effectively after publicly apologizing to a rookie seem impossibly complex. Sanders carried a different burden entirely. Validation would come through performance, not apologies. Teammates would evaluate leadership through execution, not words. Fans demanded production justifying organizational chaos. The convergence of expectations would overwhelm most humans, yet Sanders appeared energized by pressure. The Cincinnati Bengals' perspective deserves acknowledgement. They arrived expecting Brown's dysfunction to provide competitive advantage. Joe Burrow remembered previous disrespect from Cleveland faithful. Their defensive front salivated facing a rookie quarterback amid organizational turmoil. Lou Anarumo certainly prepared exotic pressures, coverage rotations, and confusion tactics targeting inexperience. Yet the morning's reconciliation potentially galvanized Cleveland, creating dangerous desperation. Wounded animals fight viciously. Embarrassed organizations occasionally discover clarity through crisis. But the most fascinating aspect of this entire situation is how it reflects broader changes in professional sports power structures. The traditional hierarchy of coaches controlling players is being challenged by athletes with unprecedented leverage, social media influence, and economic power. Sanders represents a new generation of players who won't quietly accept treatment they consider unfair or counterproductive. The combination of talent, marketability, and family influence creates leverage that previous generations of rookies never possessed. The technological infrastructure supporting modern athlete empowerment enables real-time fan engagement, social media campaigns, and public pressure that can force organizational changes. The Free Shedeur movement demonstrated how quickly fan sentiment can translate into institutional pressure. National perception shifted dramatically following the revelation. ESPN's morning shows scrambled for remote broadcasts outside Brown's facilities. Fox Sports adjusted pregame coverage, emphasizing reconciliation narrative. CBS protected primetime investment, hoping controversy generated ratings. Social media algorithms promoted Cleveland content, recognizing engagement metrics. Former players offered instant analysis without complete information. The machinery surrounding professional football transformed Brown's dysfunction into entertainment product. Local reaction remained predictably chaotic. Sports talk radio exploded with caller opinions ranging from celebration to skepticism. Brown's backers chapters worldwide processed information through various emotional stages. Ticket holders who threatened abandoning the franchise reconsidered their positions. Looking ahead, the sustainability questions will determine whether this represents an isolated incident or the beginning of systematic changes in coach-player relationships. Will other rookies demand similar treatment? How will veteran coaches adapt to increased player empowerment? What happens when talent and leverage collide with traditional authority structures? These unknowns create suspense around the ongoing narrative, but one thing is absolutely certain. The relationship between coaches and star players has been permanently altered. The Browns and Shedeur Sanders just proved that talent combined with leverage can force even established coaches to publicly acknowledge mistakes. The Stefanski apology represents more than one coach's humiliation. It represents a fundamental shift in professional sports power dynamics where players with sufficient leverage can demand accountability from coaching staffs. The message is clear. Talent and influence can overcome traditional hierarchies when organizations prioritize success over ego. The reverberations will continue expanding throughout the NFL and beyond as every coach, every player, and every organization grapples with the implications of what just happened in Cleveland. The age of unquestioned coaching authority is ending, and the player empowerment era has officially begun.